What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody who tuned in to my first video yesterday. I was only hoping for 50 to 100 views, but we pretty much 10x that in one day. So I'm very appreciative. I don't have a clear vision for this channel. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about sports. My favorite league is the NFL and the NBA, so I will be pushing out content on those leagues too as the season starts up. Right now, we see in the NBA that LeBron is possibly, fingers crossed, joining my favorite team and my favorite player with the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have a full-time job. So my expectations is to push out at least 2 to 3 videos a week, and we'll kind of see where it goes. And just a side note, if you're out there contemplating on starting a YouTube channel, my best advice is just start it. That's the advice I received. I've been contemplating this YouTube channel for over a year. And I finally told my wife, you know what? I want to start a YouTube channel. And for Father's Day, she went out and got me the Sony ZV-E10 camera, and she also got me the DJI mic. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, be like myself and just start it. Really, all you need is a phone. But I'm Jay Williams. This is the Sports Collective. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so obviously by the title, we're going to talk about the WNBA again, and honestly, I'm just gonna vent probably for the next couple of videos that I make of the WNBA. The Indiana Fever's not set to play again this Sunday, so I have a couple of days. Hopefully, Caitlin Clark plays. I know today she missed practice, but was planning to do some work, at least some workouts after practice. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hoping Caitlin Clark plays Sunday against the Las Vegas Aces. So that'll be a big matchup. It'll be good to see where the team stands against one of the top teams in the league. All right, so today we're going to get into a little bit about Alyssa Thomas. She held her first press conference since the suspension, and just where this league is going, and just what I have observed for the past 3 years. Now, I know on paper this league has been around for 30 years, but in actuality, this league is in its infant stages, right? And what I mean by that, in the last 3 years, this league has just now gotten major national attention from the media, also the major fan base that has bum rushed this league. And I just don't think they are. I don't think they know what they're doing as far as being a professional league, right? They have made a consistent effort into engaging with the noise that is made on social media, with the race baiting that is made on social media, with the rage baiting, the clickbaiting, and just they focus on everything but basketball. Even when we have a basketball, well, it wasn't a basketball play, but even when something happens on the court with Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark, for whatever reason, and I knew it was coming, it was going to be some race baiting, some rage baiting with all this different stuff. And I don't want to be insensitive to what we about to hear from Alyssa Thomas, but at the end of the day, Alyssa Thomas, you have to own it. Like, you a physical player. You are a physical player. Sometimes your physicality get the best of you, but just engaging in all this nonsense, and we're gonna address it. We're gonna see what she's talking about, and I don't want to be insensitive, but we got to stop it. We have to stop it. But let's see what she has to say.
The last week been like for you?
Crazy. The playing the game, being suspended, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this.
The narrative is that you're a physical player. It's not a narrative. It's the truth. You're a physical player. You're a physical player. You play with a lot of physicality, and that physicality gets the best of you. Like I said yesterday, it's multiple players, not just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's out is obviously going to bring out the most attention because she's a star of the league. But we've seen it against Angel Reese. We've seen it against Nafisa Collier. We've seen it against Kiki Arafan from the Washington Mystics. And I think Candace Parker came on an interview, I think a year ago, and stated how you gave her some dirty plays, right? So it's just not something that's new. It's not a narrative. It's the truth. And honestly, it's my opinion, you should just own it, right? You a physical player. Just like Draymond Green. He's a physical player who's let his physicality get the best of him. What you did against Caitlin Clark was not natural. It was not a natural play. Even if it was on accident, right? The cause doesn't justify the means, right? It doesn't justify the means. You falling down to the floor, if you happen to knee somebody in the groin or, basically almost punch somebody in the neck, like, that has to come with a punishment, even if it was on accident, right? Even if it was on accident.
over basketball. A lot of us, myself included, didn't even know the play took place until after the game, and now we're being painted as thugs, and there's death threats out on us. So it's really unacceptable. It's something that needs to change in this league, and I'm just really sick and tired of it.
Have you ever experienced something like that before?
A couple years ago, when we played Indy in the playoffs, same thing.
I'll say this. This is the part I don't want to be insensitive to. Alyassa Thomas is making a claim that she had received death threats or something. I think she said death threats, but if not, she said some type of threats or some type of physical violence, right? I'll be the first to say it. If there's anybody who's making threats, physical threats to any player, anybody, like, you deserve to be in jail, right? Alyassa Thomas, if you are getting threats, you need to contact the police and let them handle it. I completely agree. What I don't want to be insensitive to that, right? If I see somebody on my YouTube channel making threats or something, you getting blocked. I don't care if I have 20 subscribers, right? I just don't want to put up with that. What I don't want to happen is letting this narrative or what she just said take away from what we actually need to talk about, and that's the physical play in the WNBA, particularly against Caitlin Clark, right? And it's not me caping for Caitlin Clark. Like I said yesterday, her rookie year, she received the most flagrant fouls. There's people who've been in the league their whole lives who didn't receive a flagrant foul. Stephen A. said it on his show. It seems like she's being targeted. That is what it seems like. It seems like the physical play mostly comes against her. Not only, but mostly, right? And Alyassa Thomas, you are a face of that type of play, right? That physicality that has no bounds, right? That physicality that has no bounds. So I don't want to be insensitive. If you're receiving death threats, that's unacceptable, right? Unacceptable. I completely agree. I don't want this to turn into this soap opera, though. I don't, because we've seen it time after time again, right? And this is, I don't want to be, like I said, I don't want to be insensitive, but this exists in every league: the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. All these leagues have incidents of people being racist or hateful, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. But it shouldn't become the story for the league, right? Because we're never going to stop it, right? There are bad people in this world. Like I said yesterday, there are people who have their own agenda, who want to attach it to somebody in the media to push their own agenda, right? So, like I say, if this happened, contact the police. But like, let's come on, let's get back to you and your physicality and how it goes over the top. We have to stick to that. And the WNBA has to do a better job of controlling the narrative and making it and sticking to the game of basketball, right? But for whatever reason, the WNBA engages with this way too much for a sports league, in my opinion.
But not to this extent. Our families are being threatened, kids are being threatened.
Unacceptable.
People are sending racial slurs and all types of stuff. And, there's a difference between trolling and there's a difference between hate.
But like I say, it just seems like every time something happens, it goes to this. And like I say, I do not want to be insensitive to what she's saying. But at the same time, it happens time after time again. And if, like I say, these are people that are on social media with no names and no faces, and you contact the police, leave it at that. But the media, let's get to why we are here. Let's get to why she was suspended, right? That's just my whole thing. And I think we're going to see from her coach, right, of him just blatantly just pushing this narrative for no apparent reason, right? I think let's check that out right now.
I do think it's important not to rely on social media screenshots. This is a slippery slope. Let's don't base it on generational talent, fan base involvement, all-star level players or role players. Let's don't base it off veterans or young players or white players or black players or international players.
How is what happened this week?
All right. So just to give a little context, that was Nate Timmons, I believe his name is. He is at a press conference before his game that last week that Alyassa Thomas was suspended. This is his response to the league suspending Alyassa Thomas. And this is my biggest issue. I don't have an issue with what he said. I agree. It shouldn't be based off race, gender, veteran, rookie, right? I agree with that. My issue is why did he say it, right? To me, he seemed like he's telling us or trying to tell us that the WNBA suspended Alyssa Thomas for some off the wall reason, which I don't believe is true. And I think it's just another firestorm that he is starting, right? When you come out and say this, now I have to think, well, did the league suspend Alyssa Thomas because she's whatever? But it's just not true. They suspended her, which I thought it should have been 3 to 5 games just to send a message that this play is no longer acceptable, right? This play is no longer acceptable. He's just blatantly just pushing this narrative like, let's talk about race. Let's talk about gender. Let's talk about all these things. And the conversation never sticks to basketball, right? It never sticks to basketball. That's my frustration with this league. And I promise you, I won't sit here and make a video every day about the nonsense. I won't. I'm making a video right now. I may make a couple more videos just to let y'all know where I stand and my thoughts. But I can't make a full channel of just talking about this WNBA drama. That's why I can't wait till next week to hopefully Caitlin Clark plays that we can get back to basketball. But it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. And I think the WNBA needs to look at other leagues and how they handle these issues, right? Because it is right now they're letting these crazy narratives be the face of the league. When you think about the WNBA, you think about all this other stuff except basketball, right?
An indication of what needs to be better going forward, Drea.
Well, yeah, I certainly hope that moving forward, referees understand that there needs to be a sense of hypervigilance in certain matchups. Like when you watch that play, the referee that could have maybe seen the action was standing off to the right, she was standing up, and maybe that's okay in normal games, right? But when you have two teams that are playing each other 2 nights after a game that had 5 technical fouls and an ejection, whatever the referee thinks they have angle-wise, it's not good enough. As soon as this play happens and bodies hit the floor, the referee has to get a better angle to see this in real time. Because I can guarantee, had the call been made in real time, which it happens fast, but as soon as the play drops, the referee should have
slide in there.
You gotta get in there to see what is happening, right? Yeah, you gotta get down, exactly, talk in it.
So the referees, the referees is an issue in the WNBA. I don't know what it is. I don't know. They don't have the training. I don't know if they don't have the skill set. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's a harder game to referee or to call than the NBA. But the referees are an issue. But once again, I have yet to see the national media, particularly the WNBA, people who cover the WNBA, address the real problem at hand, and that's the physicality. And we finna see what Sydney Colson going to say about the physicality, which I think is just an issue, a bigger issue, right? Yes, the referees need to be better, but y'all have yet to address the issue. Y'all have yet to address the issue.
I mean, that didn't happen, and so it wasn't caught in real time, and it got way worse.
It did get way worse. I mean, because looking at the game, nobody reacted in real time. Even
it doesn't matter.
Caitlin got up, ran down the court.
She complained.
There was no
she did.
indication that more was wrong.
This is my thing. They say now. So it's a narrative that Caitlin Clark complains to the referees too much, right? That she always complains to the referees, blah blah blah, and whatever. Sometimes Caitlin do, give too much attention to the referees. But now that she doesn't give the attention that she probably should have, now we're saying, well, nothing must have happened because Caitlin Clark did complain. Well, if she did complain, the narrative would have been she complained to the referees too much, or she's this, she's that. So it's a catch-22. It's a lose-lose.
But I think this is what you kind of expect. Like these coaches reacting after games. You made this point before. Coach White is Stephanie's seeing this going into post-game after a loss.
Yeah.
You're already going to be upset about a loss. When you got star players on certain teams, coaches know they got to defend their players. Right. And we also don't know background about something else that could have happened if players felt like.
Stephanie White don't defend her players enough, in my opinion, but that's a story for another day.
All right, if you didn't have my back another time, now I got to go 2 times harder than what I maybe would have.
And she did go hard.
Right. I think it was a flagrant, not at all, but I also.
If I was Stephanie White and I seen that play after the game like she claims she seen, I would have been flipping tables. Like I appreciate her saying something, but she should have been flipping tables. So I don't agree that she went hard like Sydney Colson trying to make it out to be. She should have been flipping tables, and that may not be her personality. But we see Becky Hammond and Cheryl Reeves and the coach from the Mystics. Like that's what Stephanie White. She should have been flipping tables.
grew up in an era where it's very physical, and this was the least of what I would consider a flagrant two.
What about Drea's point?
That's the problem. That is a problem. For you to say that wasn't a flagrant two is just ridiculous. And let's look at this. All right, we all seen the play multiple times. A flagrant one foul is considered unnecessary contact that could cause minor injury. Do we all agree that was unnecessary and could cause minor injury? The intent doesn't matter. So at the very minimum, it was a flagrant one, right? Let's go to flagrant two. Flagrant two foul, unnecessary and excessive. Unnecessary and excessive contact. I'm not here to tell you Alyssa Thomas intended to do what she did. Intent doesn't matter. What happens matter. Was it unnecessary? I think so. Was it excessive? I think so, right? Often with intent to harm, this result is immediate ejection, blah, 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 2 free throws. So for Sidney Colson to make this claim that it wasn't a flagrant two, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, what are we doing? It's like, what are we doing? Like, y'all have to take some accountability. I'm not saying y'all have to call this woman dirty. I'm pretty sure Alyssa Thomas is a nice person outside of the game of basketball. But on the court, I mean, let's be real. She's a menace. She's a menace.
To understanding the matchups, right? Like understanding animosity between players, between teams, like knowing the prism of what you're going into before you're calling that game.
Yeah, refs need to be hyper vigilant. You know, between certain matchups between players, if certain people get together, you need to be running toward it. Like, forget whatever else is happening. Like, you got to get in that action and try to prevent anything from escalating.
I don't think they're aware of what they're saying. They're saying with certain players, you have to be hyper vigilant. Who's a certain player? It can't be Caitlin Clark. It has to be Alyssa Thomas, right? So they letting us know unintentionally that Alyssa Thomas has a history. And when she's in the game or when she's playing, when her team is playing, you need to be hyper vigilant. Why? Because she is known for dirty plays. Like, it's simple, but they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it. That's what's frustrating. They're going to talk about all the other stuff, the trolls and all this stuff, but
Yeah, to me, overall, officiating has been a universal issue this year.
It's been universal. So I'm gonna end it there. Like I said, this league has major issues. They need some grace. Honestly, they've been on paper. They've been here for 30 years, but in actuality, they're not used to this. They're not used to the fan base. They're not used to the demand. They're not used to the national media attention. They're not used to the criticisms. They have some work to do, man. The NBA, the WNBA has to do better at killing the noise and sticking to basketball. And honestly, it seems like they under the assumption that all publicity is good publicity. I never liked that slogan. I never liked that mindset. The negative publicity that they have been receiving for the past 3 years, in my opinion, is hurting the growth of the league, right? If Caitlin Clark fan base wasn't so rapid and fanned out like myself, it would be way worse, right? So let me know what you think. I'm Jay Williams. This is the Sports Collective. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.